Hey everyone, my name is Bruno and I've just soloed one of, if not the most difficult boss in all of Night Rain. I'm talking of course about Libra, aka the Equilibrious Beast, aka the Madness Goat. And I did it all using Raider, so this video is going to cover my run, my thought process, my decision making, and general tips for you to play as Raider, which I think is one of the most overlooked characters, which has a really unique playstyle that is often not explored. So sit tight and enjoy the video.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
So this run starts almost exactly like my latest run, which you should definitely check out, links in the description and on the top right. But essentially, you want to, as soon as you drop down, you want to go and clear the camp that's right in front of you, so you can get to level 2 ASAP. I actually got a little bit unlucky with the camp. This is one of the worst camp setups that you can get for Raider, because the rats are actually tankier than you expect and they're very mobile and you're quite slow. This will become apparent later, but Raider has some trouble clearing AoE camps until he gets like a good weapon that can do AoE, or maybe something else that can help his clear speed. His clear speed is not great, but depending on what you get, it might be good. And we'll get something really, really good. So we clear the camp, I locate the nearest grace and just go level up to level 2. I see that there's a church to the north, I intend to go there. But first I see that there's a mine. So I actually go to the mine first and I spot a dragon in the distance. And this will become relevant because I know that the dragon, day 1, is going to be very difficult because it's one of the great enemies that I spoke about in my latest video. But I still want to take him on. And this is like the biggest gamble that I make earlier on in the game. Because now my thought process so far is, well, I'm going to do the mine as I usually do, get smithing stone, and then if nothing else drops, I'll just upgrade my starting weapon and I'll go with it, even though it's not the best for this fight specifically. As you can see, and I didn't mention this in my previous video, but I'm using a relic that allows to have holy damage in my starting weapon, and also have the Ash of War Sacred Blade. In case you're wondering what kind of relics that I used in this run, they're on screen right now, so you can check them out. You can use any combination that you see fit. Anything that will increase your health and increase the damage that you deal to other enemies, or posture damage, is highly encouraged for Raider. So here I'm just finishing up this golem. You shouldn't have any sort of trouble, you can stagger him fairly easily. And then I go for the smithing stone. I kind of pondered this for a while because Troll's Hammer can be kind of nice, but fire attribute isn't something that you're really looking for, so I decided to go with my original plan. And now I really take this big gamble, which is, well, I'm going to fight this dragon. And this is an advanced strategy, and I do not recommend unless you're very confident, and as you will see, I also die in this fight like twice, so it almost wasn't worth it if not for what I got out of the fight. And I'll use this opportunity to talk a little bit about death in this game. So death is not really as punishing as it looks initially, specifically in this game. So this game still preserves the soul's essence of die once, you get a second shot of getting your stuff back, die twice, you lose them forever. Okay, so it really applies here, but I think that the UI in the game really does a poor job at telling you this, because when you die it says that you lose a level, when in actuality you didn't really lose a level. Well, you do lose a level, and immediately it has drawbacks and it's bad for you, right? But the thing is, when you lose the level, the runes that were used to level up are carried onto your bloodstain. So when you go pick them up, you get the runes that you had previously plus the levels, the runes that you needed to get back to the level that you lost. So in that sense, death isn't really punishing as long as you don't die twice without grabbing your runes. So here you can see that I do this little thing called waiting. Well, when people see that they staggered an enemy, they immediately go for the riposte without even thinking twice. And usually that's what you want to do. However, some enemies have really long stagger animations, so you can capitalize on that by just hitting them once or twice and then doing the riposte. So you want to maximize the time that they're on the ground, not really attacking. And this opportunity right here was really good to show you that. So here I get really unfortunate roll and I die a second time because the dragon decided to go up this hill and then despawn back down. And the despawns happen usually when the boss gets out of its aggro range. So here I do something that's very reckless, but it would pretty much define my run, which is I go back to finish off the dragon. I'm inside the storm, but I do have my ult, so I believe that's what I'm going to use. Yeah, and then I should just be able to finish it off. So this really paid off because I got the Dragon Halberd out of this, which is an amazing weapon that you can use, which inflicts frost damage, has AoE, and it even self-buffs. So it's a really good weapon. It's not the best for Raider, but I'll make it work because it's that good of a weapon. Okay, so... and this is a weapon I'm going to use going forward. So now my focus really is getting to level 7 as soon as possible so that I can really start using the halberd and start to capitalize and make up for the lost time on the dragon. So in this run, we actually got the Banished Knight variation of the castle, which usually is bad for Raider because, as we've seen before, he doesn't have any AoEs. But this Dragon Halberd that I picked up will save me and will make this castle very much doable and will even make me get ahead because of its strong AoEs. So here I just clean up these first enemies and I'm just looking for the prompt to get to level 7. So that I can start properly whooping some ass. So we're at level 7 and now we can finally use the Dragon Halberd. And let's talk a little bit about this Dragon Halberd. So its Ash of War doesn't seem that great because it's Spinning Slash, you've seen that on other weapons, but this Spinning Slash is special because it infuses your weapon with Frost, as you can see, with Lightning I mean, but Lightning that deals Frost damage as well, like so. And this is amazing because it not only buffs up your weapon, dealing more damage, you now get a permanent status effect on your weapon, well, at least while it's buffed, and you also get a lot of stagger from the Ash of War itself, which can be followed up by a second L2 input for the complete spin and then the crash down. Okay, so I realize the circle is closing, so I just try to clear as many mobs as I can, and then just start heading towards the tree. However, I do notice that there's a location, a specific location that only shows up sometimes, which has a vendor. And this is a very special vendor because it has a very big shop, including talismans and special weapons. And so this is where I make my second big decision of the run, which is in relinquishing these runes that I've collected, to buy 2 talismans. So I buy the Dragon Crest Shield Talisman and I buy the Earth Tree's Favor. And these will be integral to the boss fight itself, because one of them, the Dragon Crest Shield Talisman, just increases my overall physical damage negation, and the Earth Tree's Favor augments my vigor and my endurance. And this decision comes together with the way that you should play Raider and that the way that the character is designed. So unlike typical Souls or typical characters that you would find in Souls games, you don't really want to focus on dodging as much. I mean, you want to dodge some attacks, but the thing about Raider is you want to make trades. And what are trades? Trades essentially are instances where you and the boss are dealing damage to each other at the same time. We call those trades in the community, and they're usually pretty bad. Except if you're playing as Raider. So the way you play Raider is very specific. You'll want to use your health as a resource to make those trades. And what I mean by that is you're going to be constantly on the aggression until you're low on health. Then you can disengage by either using your ability or using your ult. And this will maximize the damage that you'll be dealing while staying alive. In case you didn't know, while you're performing your art, your L2 plus triangle, you cannot die. And essentially, the more damage that you take, the stronger this ability becomes. There's a threshold where there's like a big explosion and your character starts fuming, where you know that when you perform this art, it's going to be an enhanced version of the punch. And this is guaranteed to stun every single enemy in the game, bosses included, okay? So you'll want to be charging this non-stop. And for you to be able to charge it, you need to tank damage. And for you to be able to tank damage, you need to have defenses and you need to have HP. So think of your HP when playing as Raider as a resource for dealing damage, much like FP for a caster. And now back to the run. Well, I see these spiders, so I know that Duke's Dear Freya is about to spawn, which is actually a pretty easy boss. It doesn't do all that much. You just need to be careful that the only places where you can actually deal damage are the heads. And you'll see me use my ult in a while, and it won't do anything because it didn't hit the head. So here I riposte. Because I punched it, even though it didn't do damage, it dealt poise damage, because even if you don't do damage, the poise bar is separate from its health bar, much like in Elden Ring. So I used the ult, nothing happens really. I just staggered it a little bit, and then I tried to look for the head. If one of the heads is giving you trouble, or if it falls off, because after a certain damage threshold, one of the heads can fall off, you just need to switch heads and just keep hitting him. And there we go, I'll go for the second riposte. And that's the GG for Duke's Dear Freya. So here I go for improved dodging. You always want to take this even in Raider. Like, this is just so good. Because as I said before, like, you'll be wanting to make trades, right? But you need to be selective about which attacks you're going to tank. Because there are still one-shot potential even playing as a tanky character. So just pick your fights, pick your attacks carefully, and having more iframes is never a bad idea. So you can actually start running right after the boss it concludes, so even if it's not day 2 still officially, so I usually do that. Just be mindful of your HP, because sometimes you can forget that, well, it's draining your health and then you can die from just a simple attack. On this day 2, I'm really focused on the castle. I already know it has Banished Knights, which is a combination that we can really work with since we have the Dragon Halberd. So I'm just going to make a stray day for the castle and trying to go there. But first, I actually do a little detour. So that's not completely true, because I want to go get the church. Ideally, you would want to get the 3 churches. Here I make the compromise of just getting one of them, because since you're using your health as a resource to trade, you'll need flasks to heal. So anything that really ups your regen is very welcome here. So here I just make a beeline for D3. And then go directly to the cathedral, to the church. And then go directly to the church, grab the flask, and head straight up to the castle. As you can see. So now I just go here and try to clean up as many Banished Knights as I can, because they give a lot of runes. I just go here for the backstab. And then try to apply Frost. I get another lucky backstab. This was actually not in my plans. Then I go for the second one. I know that the jump R2 does stagger, but then they don't. So when that happens, usually the best is for you to use your art when they become unstaggerable. You'll see that in a few minutes, but it's usually really nice to cancel them out of the big combo, especially the twin sword guys. So now I have a Bewitching Sword branch that I found, and I use it on the lion. And this actually is good because now the lion deals damage to the Banished Knights, as you can see here. So this just makes my life easier, and overall it's more efficient. So now I just focus the lion and try to, well, get on with it. In order for you to know if the Banished Knight is going to drop something or not, you kind of just need to look at its eyes. The ones that have like the red eyes are sure to drop. They're like special enemies and they have more HP and maybe deal more damage. I'm not sure on that part, but they do have a bigger health pool, so yeah. So stance breaking is king when you play as Raider, because you're going to be trading, you're going to be hitting, you're going to be hit back, but essentially you're going to be dealing a lot of poise damage. So you really want to capitalize on those. Fighting with Raider is not elegant, but it sure as hell is effective. So I go for this one, which is critical hit restores HP, and this is great because remember that health is our resource for trading. So if we're getting some of that resource back after a stagger, which is very much likely to happen, it really speeds up the process and allows us to stay on the offensive. And as you can see, this Dragon Halberd Spinning Slash really makes short work of these groups of enemies. So this is very important, actually, what I just did here. Because as you see, these dual sword guys can be very, very annoying, and they're pretty much unstoppable once they start winding up their combos. So if you see that he's doing that and you're not able to stagger it, you can just, well, use your art and stop it in his tracks, like right now. It works wonders, and it's really efficient for Banished Knights, because then you're pretty much guaranteed a stagger. At this point I know that the circle is almost closing, but since I'm clearing these knights so fast, I just decide to keep going. I know that I'm not like in a really good spot right now. I'm just level 11. But I'm determined to, well, get as much XP as I can. Once again, stopping the dude when it does these pesky things. And this also works for bosses that have like really annoying chains. And from the top of my head, I'm remembering the Magma Worm fight. When it begins, he usually does this running attack that can last through 3 or 4 cycles. And you can just stop him right there, either with your ult or with your art. So yeah, it's really, really powerful. Because, well, time is money in this game. It really is. So if you can just stop him early, you get more time to get more runes. It's always a good idea. At this point I'm getting quite concerned because I wasn't able to finish the boss. I'm only level 11. I'm going to go to level 12 now, I think. But still, we're still very far from our level 15 mark, and the circle's already closing on day 2. So I just try to look for other runes to get while still on day 2. I spot some bosses and I'll go check them out. I see Loretta there. She's quite tanky, but I decide to take her anyway because she can be frost, and end up managing to kill her. As someone pointed out in my previous video, yeah, some of the bosses are really overtuned. Loretta is one of them. She has too much health for the type of boss she is and for the amount of damage that she can dish out. Like, it's even a full-on equipped Guardian or Raider can get one shot by one of her spells. So it's really overtuned in my opinion. She should at least be more squishy, but well, it is what it is, and we just need to well, take it as things are right now. She goes into the second phase, but we're already dealing a lot of damage, and remember that Frostbite ups the damage that you deal to the target, so that's also good. She goes into the special attack, but if you time dodged, are able to dodge them, because you really don't want to be trading those. Essentially, with Loretta, you don't really want to be trading anything that's non-physical. This is the problem attack that I was talking about. We're already inside the zone, but I just go and try to finish it, and I managed to, but it's risky. We get improved dodging again, which is funny. It's good for the boss itself, because there's some of the attacks that you really don't want to get caught by, and I'll talk more about those when you get to the Night Lord boss. So I see these undead guys, so I know pretty much that's gonna be a Deathrite bird, which is something that you don't really want to see. It can be annoying, but with our current build, we should be fine. I mean, Dragon Halberd really carries in most situations, so it would be worse if it was like a Blackblade Kindred or something that couldn't be frost. Still, we're looking here at doing the boss with just 3 flasks, even less. But I go fish for backstabs, because if you remember, we have that passive which allows us to regain health when we do a critical hit. And it's quite substantial, actually. So I pretty much farm these guys for health, and then I'm ready to fight the Deathrite bird. So I open up with the Ash of War because I have some time, and then I just look for his backside. Usually, as a melee character, you want to really stay on his backside, and for that I really advise you to just unlock your camera if you can. The bird doesn't really deal very well with you being so close to him, and so usually what it tries to do is to jump away from you to gain some distance. So if you can just close that distance quickly, you'll be safe from most attacks. I get the stagger here, then I go right to its head. Big riposte, regain health, and just keep hitting. Refresh the buff, and now it's going into the second phase. This is just one to avoid, and then just close the distance again and repeat what you were doing. As you can see, even at level 12, we're pretty tanky already. And that is also thanks to, well, the passive that we chose, but also thanks to our talismans. It's going to blow up, so now what I do is I use my punch to cancel out, which is one of the best things you can do. Like, if you see that there's a big chunk of damage coming your way, and you're not sure you're able to dodge it, what you can do is both use your ult, which gives you full iframes, or use your art, which will drastically reduce the damage that you take, and you'll even riposte it. And you're guaranteed not to die while using the art. So here's the Deathrite bird, and now I go for stance breaking, of course, and I realize that with my current rune count, I'm not gonna go very far in terms of levels. So instead of continuing, I assess the map and I go farm up. And this is something you can actually do. After day 2, you can just go back into the storm and farm as much as you can. I do advise you to come back to the storm, to the circle often, because the storm, if you stay too long out, it will start draining your health faster. But you can actually keep this cycle forever. Just go outside the storm, go in the circle, refresh, and do it again. And if you have a grace nearby, like I do, you have infinite supply of health potions. So it's actually what I do. I just farm as much as I can, and I level up till I have enough runes to get to level 15. And finally, we're here, day 3, it's time for the goat. Literally the madness goat. And so I get to level 15 and I get left with not enough runes for anything else, so I just go straight to the boss. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about this boss. So this boss has quite a few gimmicks up its sleeve, and it's traditionally one of the harder bosses, at least that people struggle the most. And, well, I totally understand that. He hits very hard and the madness is just very, very crippling. So here you have the chance to make a deal with him. I really don't advise you do that. Just refuse, because all of the deals come with penalties that you really don't want to have. And as a fun fact, you can actually attack him instead of refusing, and it does the same. So I started by buffing up, and he starts to hit me right away with one of the worst attacks. When he does that that motion with the hand that culminates in that circle, that alchemy circle underneath you, just want to dodge. Those are not worth taking because you'll be knocked off your feet and you can't really trade. Unless you use your ability, of course. And the first gimmick is that he spreads these particles, these yellow stones, all around him. And these essentially is madness stones that you can pick up to lower your madness level. So if you feel like you're getting too close to, well, madness, you can just grab those stones. And here is the second gimmick. You need to destroy the marks for him to stop buffing. Or you can do as I just did and just use your ult. Either your ult or a fully charged ability will cancel him out of that. You don't even need to interact with the circles. So, and that's why Raider is so strong, specifically against this boss, because you can really cancel out everything that this boss does. Given that you have your abilities charged, you're pretty much unstoppable. Now I get a stagger, and we get some of our health back, and we just continue the assault. He's doing that. Well, I traded here, but I really shouldn't. And then he actually buffs up here because my ability isn't fully charged. I tried to go, and actually this is actually a fun fact. You don't need to hit the circles, you can just run through them. I guess almost no one knows that, and I don't know why. And this buff essentially gives him more damage negation, so you really don't want to let him buff. My ability is ready, and I'm saving it for a proper time. And I get downed here. It's unfortunate, but my default res came in clutch, and I am ready to take him on again. I'm a bit more careful now that my lifelines are gone, but I'm still with the same mentality of trading, of hitting him, of trying to deal as much damage as I can. And he's about to do the same thing. And I get riposte. Regain the health and just keep attacking. Notice how I'm saving my abilities, because I know he's going to do the same skills again. Like right now. And when he does this, you just need to grab the stones, or you can just cancel him out. Just cancel him out. And I use the art here, and I even get the stagger, which is crazy. And from here on out, it's just I'm in the clear. I still have my ult, so I should be fine. So yeah, my name is Bruno. If you like the video, please comment and subscribe, and like the video, of course. Let me know which other characters you want me to use next, or which other knight bosses you want me to see tackle, and I'll see you guys in the next video.